Hello everyone, great to see you today. Welcome to another Refill with Pastor Mag. I'm here in front of Custer Elementary, and this week we're going to be focusing on schools because school is going to start soon. We want to be praying for the kids, we want to be praying for the principals, we want to be praying for the teachers, not necessarily in that order, because school is a big deal. We want our kids to know Christ, and we want our kids to know how the world works, how God put the world together, that we can have people that impact the world for Christ. And so we want to be praying for school during this time. But today, we are also in Psalm chapter 14. So let's go ahead and read Psalm chapter 14 together and get started with our refill, shall we? Let's read. The psalmist here says, "The fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt, they do abominable deeds. There is none who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on the children of man to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. They have all turned aside. Together they have become corrupt. There is none who does good, not even one. Have they no knowledge of all the evildoers who eat up my people as they eat bread and do not call upon the Lord? They are in great terror, for God is with the generation of the righteous. You would shame the plans of the poor, but the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that salvation for Israel would come out of Zion. When the Lord restores the fortunes of his people, let Jacob rejoice, let Israel be glad." Now there's some really great things that start here. First of all, it says the fool says in his heart there is no God. He might not say it with his lips, he might not write it down on a piece of paper, but he says it in his heart. You know, I think this is something that we need to be looking out for. Are we living like there is no God even though we say that there is? This is an impactful piece. It goes right to the heart of everyone. Is our heart saying there is no God? Are our actions saying there is no God? It says that they're corrupt, they do abominable deeds, there is none who does good. And we know that. Without Jesus, without a life that has been redeemed in him, there is no good. There is nothing that is good about us except through Christ. And it continues on that way. It says, together they have become corrupt, they've all turned aside. We should not be surprised when evil comes out in the world, because the world is filled with evil people. We are evil at our core. And yet, in verse 5 and 6, he says, they're in great terror. Why? Why are they in great terror? Because God is with the generation of the righteous. You know, there's no benefit to doing that which is evil. It may seem on the short side to be a great idea, or it might feel good at the time, but there is no benefit, no long-term benefit to doing what is evil. To saying there is no God and doing whatever you feel like rather than what God desires, there is no benefit. In fact, it leads to sleepless nights. It leads to a time of being terrorized by your own heart and your own mind condemning you because you know God is not with you. But it says there in verse 6, you would shame the plans of the poor, but the Lord is his refuge. It goes back to that sense of strength. Who is the strength? Who is the refuge? Who is the stronghold for the poor and the weak? The Lord. God is. Not because they can do anything for themselves, but because God is who he is. He is the protector of those who follow him. And in verse 7 it says, oh, that salvation of Israel would come out of Zion. You know it does. Jesus comes out of Israel, and through Israel, and to Israel, and now to us the Gentiles. Through Jesus, we can have salvation. He says salvation there for Israel. What is salvation? Well, salvation is a physical and a spiritual deliverance from evil and danger. Through Jesus, we can be delivered from that. How awesome is that what the psalmist is writing here has occurred, and that the Lord will restore Israel. It will restore. He has promised, and it will occur. You know, just something for us to think about today. Are our actions, are our heart saying that there is no God? If it is, let's work on changing that. Let's bring that to God that he would be known. And second of all, let's remember there is no benefit to doing evil. It may look pleasant, it may look great in the short term, but in the long term there is no benefit. Thanks for joining me so much for Refill. It has been so great to have you. Remember, we are here pretty much every weekday and every Sunday at 10:10. You can find us right here on YouTube, or if you're watching on Instagram, join us over there. If you give us a thumbs up and a share, that'll let the algorithm know that this is a great video to share, and more people can be impacted through it. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.